Welcome back, my friends. We will continue our journey, and in this journey, we're going to examine measures of central tendency in our terms and definitions module. I want you to think about this just a minute. Measures, quantitative analysis, central tendency. Central means center, the tendency of something to hover around its center. We're going to examine ways to look at data sets and determine or describe how they hover around their center, measures of central tendency. In measures of central tendency, there are three basic terms to know. The first of those is the mean, which is the numerical average, the median, which is one in the middle, and mode, which is the most common. You may have heard the phrase repeated together, mean, median, and mode. In fact, there's a cute little song out on YouTube about mean, median, and mode. If you're one of these learners who responds well to music, you might enjoy listening to that. But if you do like music, I won't sing it to you lest I destroy your love of music. Mean, median, and mode. Now, in this video, we're going to develop these three concepts to help you understand them a little better. Learn these three terms, and you can rock the land of nerd. Let's start with mean. What is the mean, you ask? Well, I appreciate you asking that. It's very gracious of you to be interested in the term mean. Mean is the numerical average. Now, let's see if we can explain that to you. A numerical average. What is the average height of these Girl Scouts? Have you ever noticed that they use little Girl Scouts, little brownies, to sell Girl Scout tickets, Girl Scout cookies, and old guys, when the little kids come up and say, Dr. Rusty, would you buy some Girl Scout cookies for me? How could you ever say no? It's a very clever marketing device. So what is the average height of these 5 girls who are selling Girl Scout cookies? What is the average? We might say, what is the mean height? Mean refers to numerical average. Let's see what we can do. The mean height is the average height. Let's average the height of these Girl Scouts. Now, in order to do that, let's lay them end to end. So we have the total height. There are 5 of it. Let's divide that height into 5 equal pieces. And it turns out that right here we have the average height of the girls. So if we take the numerical average, there's the same amount above the line that there is in distance underneath the line. The mean is the numerical average. That's why it's called the average. I want to take just a minute, and digress here, because with the numerical average, you have as much on one side as you have on the other side. It amazes me sometimes that all parents think their kids are above average, but really there's no way that all kids could be above average, because the very average itself forces half to be under and half to be above. Just a thought. Now, the mean for the population is called mu, and it's the Greek letter mu. Many years ago, I had a guy post on one of my videos, said, you need to call it Miu. Well, I'm a Texan. And I don't know if you ever saw a John Wayne movie or not, but I call it mu. We come from a land where there are a lot of cows, and cows say moo, and cows are studying statistics all the time. Mu represents, this Greek letter represents the mean of the population. The mean of the sample will be recognized by this symbol, X with a line above it. We will call that X bar. Mu is the population, is the mean of the population. X bar is the mean of the sample. The mean is the numerical average. Mu is the numerical average of the population. X bar is the numerical average of the sample. Now, of course, they have formulas. And doesn't this formula look wonderful? Mu is equal to the sum of all the data from 1 to however how many there are in the population, added up, divided by the number of the population. A capital N always stands for the number of datum in the population. A capital X stands for the value of each individual datum in the population. That looks like an awful formula, but all it does is add all the values up and divide by the number you have. X bar also has a formula. X bar is equal to the sum of all the data added up, divided by the number that you have in the sample. You notice again that mu is the population mean, and it uses capital letters to represent the number in the datum. X bar is the sample mean or average, and it uses a lowercase n to represent all the numbers in the sample, and each of the little datum are represented by lowercase x. Now, all the formulas require is that you add them up and divide by the number you have. We added all the heights up, we divided by 5, and we got the mean of this group. This is some mean stuff. Now, what is the median, you ask? Why, thank you. I'm delighted that you asked that, and I'll just go out of my way to answer it. The median is the one in the middle. In other words, if you ask what is the median height of these girls, you will have to rank order them, line them up, either from the smallest to the tallest or from the tallest to the shortest. To find the median, we must rank order them. So we have these 5 girls in order. Here's the one in the middle. The median height is the middle height. Now, if we have more, here we have an odd number, made it easy. If we have an even number, with an even number of data, you put them in order, you take the middle 2, add them up and divide by 2. The median is the one in the middle. Now, the mode. What is the mode, you ask? Thank you again for being so engaged in this video. To find the mode, identify the most common value. The mode is the value that occurs most often. This height occurs most often, therefore it is the mode. Now, before we get into these 3 terms that you need to know, and we talk about them a little more, I want you to think about which of these is probably the easiest to use. Have you ever had to rank order things? When I was in school and a child, they'd give us a bunch of words and we had to put them in alphabetical order. I hated that. It took hours to do that. And why did we do that? I didn't understand. Well, median, putting things in rank order is very middle, and that makes the mode even more difficult than the median because you have to rank order them to find the middle one, but you have to rank order them also to identify which is the most common. The mean. The numerical average is probably the easiest to obtain. The mean is the basis of quantitative analysis. Quantitative being a quantitative statistical analysis, quantitative referring to things that can be numbered. And if we can number them, we can add them up and find their numerical average. Mu is the numerical average, or the mean of the population. X bar is the mean of the sample. Now, I want to carry you back a number of years ago to the States. In the States, we play football. Now, I'm not talking about football where you kick it with your feet. We call that soccer. We play football where you grab it and you run with it and you throw it through the air and you try to catch it. The owners of the football teams, the American football teams, got in an argument with the players on the American football teams. The owners didn't want to pay more. The players weren't happy. So the players went on strike and they shut down the entire football season. The population, the people, were very angry at them for closing out the football season and for ruining the year that we'd been looking forward to. The owners, to defend themselves, tried to show that the players were unreasonable. The players, to defend themselves, tried to show that the owners were unreasonable. The players said the average salary is $200,000 a year, intending to make all of the people say, well, my gracious, they're making $200,000 a year? How could they ever go on strike? The players said the average salary is $68,000 a year, trying to show that the salary was much lower, the average was, than the owners were claiming. The owners used the mean, and the players used the median. Both of them told the truth, but they told it from different areas. The mean salary included some players who made lots of money, and that was averaged in with the players who made little money, so the numerical average was indeed $200,000 a year. The players used the median salary. They rank ordered from the lowest salary to the highest and chose the one in the middle. Before I close, I want to ask you a question. What do you think the mode salary is? It's kind of a trick question. The mode salary is zero. There are more people that earn nothing than there are people that earn different values. For example, my granddaughter, Allie, doesn't have a job. My granddaughter, Tori, does not have a job. My granddaughter, Reagan, does not have a job. My granddaughter, Miriam, does not have a job. Neither does my grandson, Gabriel, or my grandson, Marissa, nor does my grandson, Christian, or my grandson, Peter. Of course, like I said, Allie doesn't have a job. She's 2 years old, so she's earning nothing. Tori's 11. She's earning nothing. Reagan is 4. She's earning nothing. And here I am out making a salary, but I'm about to be 58 years old, so you expect me to be working. The mode salary is the most common, which would be a salary of 0. The mean is the numerical average. Mu stands for the mean of the population. X bar stands for the mean of the sample. The median is the one in the middle when they're rank ordered. The mode is the most common. Learn these 3 terms, and you will continue to rock the land of nerd. I want to thank you very much for your support. May the odds be ever in your favor, unless you and I are in the same competition. And if we're in the same competition, it's every man for himself. You have a blessed day.